Welcome back to the lunch table, food for thought. I'm Nico Blitz. Make sure you hit that subscribe button just right down there. We're also on Apple Podcasts, SoundCloud, YouTube if you want to see my face, and also Track Life Radio, amongst other things. Check out our Spotify too. We're actually showcasing new music from a whole bunch of the artists that we're interviewing on this platform. Today's guest, though, she's not an artist on the microphone, so to speak. But she's amazing with mixing and mastering, and she is the engineer of this album, Anderson Paak's Ventura. She goes by the name of Lola Romero. Lola,
Yes.
what's poppin'?
What's up?
You know, I've been looking forward to this podcast forever.
Yeah.
Forever. Because Paul reached out to me a couple weeks ago and was like, hey, you need to check out my girl Lola. I was like, why?
Yeah.
And he just said Ventura, Anderson Paak. I was like, okay, let me just see where we can go with this.
Yeah.
And then I listened to Ventura just last week.
Yeah.
And I was like, yo, this is the first time in a long time in which I would consider something a flawless album. Like, completely flawless.
That is like music to my ears.
And we have you to thank for that.
Thank you. I think we have Focus and Dr. Dre and Anderson
Yeah.
to thank for that. But I was so happy to play a part.
Yeah,
So
I mean,
happy to play
huge part.
Yeah.
Come on, that's a huge part,
Yeah,
man.
for sure.
I've heard a whole bunch of songs that aren't mixed and mastered, and I'm just like, you could just tweak it just a little bit more.
Yeah, for sure.
But it's crazy because even after listening to the project, you got 3 Stacks on here.
Yeah.
Smokey Robinson.
Yeah.
Brandy was the one where I was like, yo, that's odd because I don't see Brandy's name pop up.
Yeah.
But the
fair.
one was also Nate Dogg, and I'm
Yeah.
like, it is insane the amount of quality this thing has, and
Yeah, for sure.
I want to get into this a little bit later.
Yeah.
But let's get to know you a
Okay.
little bit more, Lola. So
Yeah.
what's up? Where are you from?
Oh, you already know. I'm from the Bay.
Yay! What part?
Bay Area. For me, that's always an interesting question because I grew up all over the Bay. I was born in the East Bay, and I spent my younger years there. I lived in San Francisco for a while, and then San Mateo.
Okay.
Yeah, so
tho-
all over the Bay.
Those are basically the cities I hang around a lot.
Yeah.
But I'm from San Francisco. Where'd you
You're-
stay at in San Francisco?
The Excelsior.
No.
Yeah, shut up. What about you?
Dude, my school was right off Excelsior.
Really?
Corpus Christi.
Yeah,
Wait.
that's crazy. I didn't go there, but I know what you're
Oh,
talking
okay,
about.
but
Yeah.
you know what school?
Yeah,
I was like,
know.
yo, wait, now, did we go to the same middle school?
No, that'd be
that would have
crazy,
been
no.
crazy.
No, I went to OLM in Daly City.
Oh, my
Yeah,
God, dude.
in middle school, and then I went to Notre Dame High School. Where'd you go to high school?
I went to Archbishop Reardon.
Oh my God. Okay, so I went to San Francisco City College for a little while.
Yeah,
That's
right
how I
across
started-
the street
yeah,
from
that's
each
how I
other.
started
Yeah,
engineering.
yeah.
Yeah.
My best friend actually went to Notre Dame in San Mateo. Not the high school, but the college.
Oh, yeah, Dana Muir.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, that is so crazy. You went to OLM. Wait, what?
I didn't graduate there.
What year were you, though? What year were you supposed to graduate from OLM?
06.
See, I'm 07.
Oh, really?
Do you know a Chris Mingao by chance?
Chris?
Chris.
I don't think so.
No? Do you know a Francis Bautista by chance?
Francis, no.
Okay.
Unless Chris's name is Christian. I had
Mia
3 Christians in my class.
Is there a Christian Miyajima that you might know?
No.
Okay. Well, I'm not going to go down
Yeah,
the whole
I know.
list.
Now we're
but,
gonna go down the-
It's kind of crazy because, I have a lot of homies who went to OLM, and basically the San Francisco, San Mateo area is kind of where I grew up. So
Yeah.
it's always very interesting to find somebody from the Bay Area who's always out here in LA.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, especially Bay. Mm-hmm. Because you know how that question goes sometimes.
Yeah. Who's some of the artists that you grew up listening to?
Ooh, okay, grew up listening to. I mean, I loved Keith the Sneak.
Okay.
Loved Keith.
Some super hypey on Cintas,
Yep.
all that.
On Mamas on Citas.
Love it.
And then 40. And everybody really.
Yeah.
I mean, I feel like that period of time of Bay Area music, there was really only a handful of super, super, super poppin' people that everybody loved.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Mac Dre.
Mac Dre, Clyde
Andre.
Carson, everybody.
Yeah.
And you know,
it's hard to put in. I'm just like everybody.
Well, and even like that era wasn't necessarily hyphy. Like
No.
I guess hyphy was like 07-ish,
Yeah,
06,
right?
07-ish,
Yeah.
but like it was even before that. There was just like
Yeah.
so many talent coming out the Bay, and I'm
Yeah.
like, yo, like it's crazy because we never really had somebody super popping up until G-Eazy.
Yeah, mainstream. I guess
Mainstream.
Yeah, I think you're right about that.
Yeah.
Except for E40.
Yeah, but I think E40 just had that "Tell Me When to Go" hit, and you know, I think that's as big as he got in terms of like a mainstream sound. Like he had a couple ones, like You and That and all that, but he never really eclipsed to the point where G-Eazy or a Kehlani hit.
Yeah, that's fair. But now like the music industry is so different and so much more accessible. I think that's one thing that always held like Bay Area music back is the accessibility. It's sometimes something only we understand.
Yeah.
Well,
that's why like the bass sound is just so different, and nowadays we see that sound being applied to a lot of music in today. Like a lot of people are taking that SOB RBE flow.
Yep.
You know what I mean?
Sure,
like
for sure.
Like shout out Blueface for taking that.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? And that's a pretty obvious thing.
Yeah. There's a few people that like, I'll hear it and I'll be like, oh, are they from the Bay? And then I would look into it or whatever, and they're not. And then I'm like, cool, it sounds good, but like then I don't know, it makes me feel a little funny.
The first time I heard Tinashe, right, 2 On,
yeah,
it was a DJ Mustard beat, and I was like, oh, like I think she's from Oakland or something, because she had like a whole bunch of Bay lingo in it. I'm like, oh, she's not even from here.
Yeah.
Turns out Bobby Brackens from the East Bay
Right.
wrote that whole thing, and I was like,
Right.
now it makes sense.
Yeah, right.
And you know what I mean, like. To me, there's always these conversations about like the Bay Area never really gets the credit that they deserve.
For sure. I think I agree with that, personally.
Yeah?
I think so, yeah. Yeah, I feel like the Bay Area has something really, really special, and I don't think it ever really reached the rest of the country, let alone the rest of the world, right? Until super, super recently. And that was because people who weren't from the Bay started doing what we do.
Yeah, exactly. And I feel like nowadays, even though we don't get the credit we deserve, it comes in these conversations, which like,
Yeah.
we
know.
we at least we know, and
We
that's
know.
what we're happy about. But
Yeah.
there's always that, I guess that limitation that we reach. Like, there's only so far we can talk about it until people actually start to accept the fact that the Bay Area is like one of the biggest heavy hitters in the music industry.
For sure. But we're just like low key and, kind of fly under the radar.
Hella low key.
Yeah.
So then, what was it like for you growing up in the Bay Area?
Amazing. I feel so blessed. I feel like that's what made me who I am. I feel it makes me a little sad now when I go back. How often do you go back to the Bay?
Ooh, that's a great question.
Okay.
Looks like once a year now.
Oh, ooh. Damn. I try to go at least every couple months.
Okay.
But then, of course, the busier I get, the more time ends up happening in between. But every time I go home, I'm like a little sad. It seems like it's not the place that I left it, Mm-hmm. But growing up was amazing. It was amazing, and my whole family's from the Bay, so like generations deep. I was the first person in my entire family to move away for college and stay.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Wait, where'd you go for college?
Well, I mean, I went to LA Film, but
hey,
I left.
It's still no,
Yeah.
you left.
yeah,
You
I left.
That's
I
a
left
good move.
and I've been here since.
That's tight.
Yeah.
So what year did you end up moving?
Damn. Okay, I was 20 right before my 21st birthday, almost 6 years ago.
Yeah. Oh shit,
Yeah.
crazy.
Yeah, about 6 years ago.
Yeah, that was about the same time I moved out here
Yeah.
too. And why did you decide to, I guess, move to Los Angeles? Because that's a huge move for just a Bay Area person alone.
Yeah, for sure. For anybody, really.
Yeah.
I mean, it was kind of a pipe dream, low key. My family thought I was absolutely crazy, but here I am. And but I was at San Francisco City College. I knew I wanted to work in music. I'm not a musician, so I was kind of doing research, and I was like, all right, well, where could I fit in? I knew that was something that I really wanted to do, really wanted to be a part of making great music. And I was at San Francisco City College just trying to figure life out, taking GEs and, just taking BART every day. I didn't drive. I was taking BART every day, get off on Ocean and walk up that big ass hill every day.
Oh my God, yeah, that's a crazy walk, dog.
And so like in the beginning of my first semester, I went to the wrong building and I ended up in the broadcast building. And they have a studio in the basement. So I was down there, I was looking for my class, and I saw like a studio, basically. I saw a live room, and then I kind of peeked my head around, and I saw a control room in the back, and then everybody was in there, like, taking notes on their lap. And I just kind of stood by and just kind of watched for a little while, and I caught the teacher later, and I was asking her about this class. And, I went home and, like, signed as soon as, like, registration opened for the next semester, I signed up for that class, and it was Intro to Recording Arts.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and it was so tight. We started with, like, tape and cutting tape.
Damn, hella old school
Yeah,
shit.
they have like a really cool like boutique. Well, I think they have a new board now, but back then it was a boutique like Neve custom board.
Even like, cutting tape. Was there a moment in which you felt like, man, this isn't really necessary?
No, I loved it. I loved it. And to be honest, I really thought like going into engineering that it was going to be a lot more analog. And like, and I couldn't. Surprise.
Yeah.
It's all Pro Tools all the time. But that's the cool thing about working for Dre is that we definitely like still hold on to like analog, and that makes it all the more better for me because that's really what I'm interested in.
Well, then, from your perspective, since you still do work with like analog, like what are the differences that not only do you see but that you hear? I
mean, just the warmth and the grit that like that everybody says is in analog. It's really in there. And it's not, you can't replicate it. Plugins like come really close, but it's not the same.
Yeah.
It's just not the same.
Yeah. It's kind of like when, cause I still spin on turntables.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah.
So it's kind of like when you get like that little crackle, it's like you can't mimic that crackle anywhere. You need an actual turntable for that.
Yeah, exactly.
And it's like, I think just as like music junkies, it's like those little imperfections that make the music that much more, I guess, warm and soothing.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, definitely. Yeah. I think it kind of glues everything together a little bit better too. Yeah. We work on a SSL. And
what's an SSL?
Console, like a 96 channel console. Okay. Yeah.
Oh yeah, shout out Paul. I was super intimidated walking into that. Like, yo, I've never seen this many channels in a studio.
Oh really?
Yeah.
Well, yeah. I mean, no one really has any use for them anymore, but we do. Hey.
Did you even have to use all those 96 channels just for this album?
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh my God.
Absolutely,
that is crazy.
Absolutely, yeah. But before then, not so much. I mean, with Oxnard, Oxnard and Ventura.
Wait, did you work on Oxnard too?
Yeah.
Oh shit! You didn't tell me that.
Yeah, and Bubblin as well. So.
Oh my God, Bubblin's one of my favorite songs.
Oh really?
Yes.
Yeah, I love Bubblin.
Did you work on the No Worries project?
No.
Oh, okay.
Bubblin was the beginning of like my
your venture
coming onto the Paak team.
Okay, so then how did you end up like meeting or like initiating yourself into that?
Yeah, well, okay, so I've been working at Aftermath for, a couple of years now, like 3 going on 4, I think. And I had moved up. I had started there as a runner and moved up to assistant engineer. And Anderson had a studio somewhere else, and he was working on building a new one. So he came over to Record One in between time, not having a studio, and he has an engineer, Jair. Shout out Jair. He's one of my greatest friends, and I will forever be grateful for him for helping me, jump on the Paak team. Okay. So I appreciate him a lot. But so Ja and Anderson came in, and generally when we have an engineer who's not like on our team, we'll try to give them an assistant who's like super familiar with the rooms. I just happened to be that person that first day, and we hit it off.
Damn.
And then and we hit it off.
Line, what up?
Yeah, it just worked out like that. It just worked out. We all just really vibed with each other, and we just really liked each other. And I just kept getting that call back, and then eventually they were like, "Yo, just call her every time."
Oh wow.
Yeah. And then within that, I moved from like assistant engineer, and then as we got further into the album process, John needed more and more help, and he'd be like, "Hey, can you do this? Hey, can you do that?" And then that, then I started moving into engineering. When it came to Ventura, Focus 3 Dots, he was going to be the mixer on the album, and he requested that I be his mix engineer.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Oh, shit.
So within, pretty much within a year span, I went from assistant engineer to mix engineer. Yeah, thank you.
Good shit.
Thank you.
It kind of sounds like a mixture of you're at the right place at the right time.
Yeah.
And you already had those set skills with you.
Yeah. Someone told me like that's what the definition of luck was to them, was to be able to apply the skills that you have at the right opportunity. That's really what luck is. Mm-hmm. And it's less about just happening to get something.
Yeah.
And being able to apply yourself when you get something. Because
you essentially have three sets of people, and I'll consider you like that middle portion, right? And I'll get to it. Like the first set of people is the people who are just like everywhere. The mm-hmm. people who just they know everybody. They are able to network like everywhere, but they don't necessarily have the skill set. These are the type of people who are like, yeah, I can do it, but they don't know how to do it.
Right.
And then you have a whole bunch of people who are just like in their studios and work on their craft, and they're like masters, mm-hmm. but they just don't know how to network. Mm-hmm. So you being like smack in the middle, yeah, I'm going to be everywhere, but I also know what the fuck I'm doing too.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And it's that balance that can really have people like yourself get lucky, quote unquote.
Yeah, for sure. I didn't see that coming.
Yeah.
I didn't see that coming at all.
So then prepping yourself to be lucky, right?
Yeah.
Like what were the steps that you had to do in order to like become this engineer?
I really just wanted to do a good job. I mean, I don't really do anything in life if I'm not going to do a good job at it. I just feel strongly about that. And being an engineer was something that I really, really wanted to do. And then, when you get hired for Dr. Dre, the bar just jumps
it's like,
incredibly,
shit,
right?
This is real.
So now I'm not only doing a good job for myself, but I'm also doing a good job for like this legend. This legend, he's like, a master at what he does. And he's an educator as well. So if you have someone who is like so accomplished and so intelligent, willing to help you along the way, you would be foolish to not give it your all, right? Yeah.
It's kind of like you have a treasure chest right in front of you and you're just not going to pick it up.
Yeah, right. Yeah. So he never expected anything from me, but I wanted to be an engineer. And every chance that I was given there, I had to go 1,000% with it, right? So that I would get another chance or a better chance, Yeah.
And it's one thing to just be in the room and another. I'm sure you were the type of person to like constantly ask questions. Huh?
Oh yeah. Well, yeah, but then that's part of like studio etiquette too. So like I would like really to this day I have like a running list of notes in my phone of things that like at the top of the list I probably know them by now, but I just keep it in there just for reference. But like if I ever don't know anything, I'll write it down on a question and then I'll like try to grab somebody later and ask them, or look it up or whatever. And then when I get the answer, I definitely write down the answer in that list of notes so that I can ever like, if I ever need to, I can like go back to that and check that out. Or for me, just writing stuff down, period, helps me remember. But I try to be like a tell me once and I got it kind of person,
I mean, that's that type of person that you need to be working with all these heavy hitters in the room. It's like,
sure,
I'm assuming they wouldn't mind just telling you that one time, but when it's like constant, it's like, well, I just told you.
For sure.
I told you last week.
Yeah.
What are you talking about?
Yeah, you're asking for it. Asking for it.
So what was it like the first meeting between like you and Dr. Dre? What was that like?
Amazing. He's like so incredible. He's such a nice guy. And, I was like, I wasn't expecting to meet him, so I didn't even have a chance to think about it. So we just met. Paul introduced us, I'm in the kitchen, like, restocking the waters or whatever, and he comes, and I'm just kind of like, okay.
Hey, like, fuck, don't freak out.
I know, yeah. And then Paul comes in. He's like, oh, Dre, have you met our new runner, Lola? And then he was like, oh, hey, nice to meet you. Yeah, and it was just boom, just like that. And then it was over, and then it was cool. And then ever since then, Lola, what's up?
Damn, crazy. Yeah. And he's the type of person to just remember name, too.
Yeah, for sure.
That's insane. And because I run across people like all the fucking time and they don't bother to remember a name.
Bother or
They
can't?
don't.
I cannot.
I think bother.
Really?
I think bother.
Because I like, I'm the worst at that, and I genuinely feel bad. But like, I will, I've tried all the tricks, shake the hand, look in the eyes, say the name back, say it back in my head a few times, and then a few minutes later, it's like gone. But I don't know, maybe that's just, I'm a space case and I'm tired all the time.
I do this thing in which, like, let's say I just meet you, I'm like, Lola. Like, I literally say that in front of somebody just so that I can get it embedded into my head.
Yeah. I feel like I try to too, but for some reason it's not, doesn't work out in my favor.
It doesn't really work. So, becoming an engineer, right?
Mm-hmm.
So you took that class at City College, and then you move over to LA.
Yeah,
and then you just started taking more classes.
Yeah, I did a few semesters there at City College in San Francisco, and they had an amazing program. So great. It really, really prepared me for schooling out here and prepared me for aftermath. And anything else that I have going on.
Did you walk into like LA thinking that you kind of knew everything already?
No, not at all. I try to, not even try to. I just stay low key. You know what I mean? I just stay pretty chill. I think that's a Bay Area thing.
Yeah.
So no, I didn't come out here like thinking anything. I did a few semesters at San Francisco City College. My parents are really big college people. And they were like, okay, that's fine if you want to do this, but you need to get a degree.
Damn.
And I was like, all right, okay, I'm going to go get a degree. So I just started looking at schools, and I had a friend that was living out here already. She was going to FITM, and we were friends from high school. Mm-hmm. I was like, hey, can I come stay with you for the weekend? And she was like, yeah. And I was like, okay, so I'm going to go check out all these schools and whatever, right? She comes with me. She's like my mom. She's like asking all the questions I didn't even know to ask. Because she's already like in like,
She has this laundry list of questions. So Lola needs to know A, B, C, D.
She hella did. She came through for me.
There we go. That was the first time you said hella. I was waiting for that. I was waiting for that the whole time.
Oh, wait, it's on now. It's on. I said it once. Here we go. But yeah, she was like super prepared and like, knew everything to ask. I had like a few different interviews and like tours set up for different schools out here, and different schools. There's like 3, but I go to LA Film first, right? Mm-hmm. They show us around, and I was like, "Oh, okay, this is it." I just had a really good feeling about it, and I was like, I didn't even go to the rest. I was like, "Okay, I'm going to LA Film. Here we go." And like the application process was like kind of like simple for me, and like it was just kind of a done deal. It wasn't until I started taking it wasn't until, so let me back up. LA Film is a month-to-month program. So every month you have a new class. Damn. Now, in my opinion, if you've never, ever done anything in engineering ever, that's like, it's gotta be hard.
Yeah.
For me, I had already done like 3 semesters of like analog and Pro Tools classes.
At City
College. Semesters. So, semesters are like, what?
Yeah, 3-4
months or
yeah.
something like that. Yeah. So at this point, I had almost a year of schooling before I went to LA Film. So that's what, I didn't feel like I knew everything, but when I got in the thick of things, I felt really prepared.
Yeah.
A
little bit more comfortable.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I was like answering questions, no problem. And then it was just kind of like, like extra education.
Because I can assume that the first week is probably just like, hey, these are all the tools that you're going to be using.
Yeah.
i.e. Pro Tools, maybe Logic, whatever you're going to end up using. Then by week 2, it's like, okay,
yeah,
get it done. We're using these tools like right now.
Yeah, for sure. I think the first month or so was like kind of, they were kind of easing you into it. But then like after that, it was on.
Yeah.
Yeah. I felt bad for people who had like, that was like their first introduction. It's hard. It's a lot of information to take in. But yeah, so it just hella prepared me. That's all.
So one thing I want to ask you now is, because there's always this grand debate between pursuing your passion and going to school, right?
Oh yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
I get that thing a lot, in which like there's a lot of people at the radio station, for example, who are like, oh, I didn't go to school and I'm just doing fine. I'm like, hey, much more power to you. But I've always felt like an education can really prep you for the real world.
Yeah.
So what's your opinion on that?
Same. And I think that if you want to do anything, I think that you should you should prepare yourself and take it as seriously as possible. And so, educating yourself on the subject, I think, is one of the first steps. So I think education is like, number one personally.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no.
I don't know if that's just because my parents told me that all my life, or
Amen.
if I actually believe it. No, I do.
No. My parents told me the same thing, and I'm just like, look, I don't know.
Yeah, I didn't know, but I'm thankful now. I'm so thankful now. You know what? I got a lot of like the analog schooling at City College, but then when I went to LA Film, I really, really started to dig into like the Pro Tool shit, and that like so they, so it was just a little bit of both.
But you know what's crazy is that I feel like there's no instruction manual on how to teach analog anywhere online, right? Because probably not because it's just so ancient per se.
Yeah, no one has access to
no one has
here.
access to any of that.
Yeah.
And like if you wanted to buy equipment, it's kind of like, yo, it's expensive
Good
as
luck.
shit. Yeah, good luck. So I feel like if I'm drawing this out correctly, without City College, there's no way you would be working with Dr. Dre. Because he, you know what I mean? Because like he works on analog, and that's that type of shit not anybody knows how to do. Yeah,
for sure. You dig into it a little bit at LA Film, but not nearly as much as like 4 months recording on a Neve. So,
and I feel like it's an advantage that you personally have.
I think so too. Yeah.
She's like, I do.
Yeah, it's a little something. But you know what, though? I learned a lot on the job. I can't even lie. And being hired as a runner, I took, like, every chance that I could get in the room to, like, learn something. Like, 6 months into working, you need a car to be a runner, right? Because you have to go on runs. So you have to go on errands. And I got into an accident going on a run, actually. This lady came around the corner and just smacked into me like so hard and like totaled my car. And so I was like, okay. Well, my dear friend Paul came through and he was like, well, why don't you take the day shift for now? And then you just, there was like a laundry list of things to do. It's maintenance, really, studio maintenance. And I was like, okay, cool. I took that time. So I'd get in the morning, like 8, 9, 10 or something. And I would like clean everything as fast as I could, right? Clean it well, but fast. Yeah, I went in there. I was doing things you wouldn't even think about. But so I'd like clean everything really fast, and by fast I mean like 3 hours instead of 5. So then I would like,
as long as the work got done,
it got done, right? And then I'd go in the room, and then I would just like poke around, and like one of the easiest things is to like trace cables. So I'd go behind the console, and I'd grab like one of the cables, like going to we have PMCs, little monitors, little speakers. And I'd like just touch the cable and just walk it back and be like, oh, okay, cool, this goes here. And I would just do that all day long. And then I would try to like, undo something and put it back. And it was just kind of, going over like my schooling, but like applying it in a non-pressure situation. And then Aftermath is like so family that like everybody just kind of helps each other. So if I ever didn't know anything, even to this day, if I don't know something, it's like just as simple as like grabbing somebody and being like, hey, I don't know this, But I think that's like, I think that's something that people are afraid of a lot. To be like, hey, I don't know something.
Yeah.
But that's not something that scares me. That helps you grow, and that helps you learn. And so, I don't mind. It sucks if you're in a situation and you don't know something. That's really shitty. But you take that as a learning experience, So
they actually have this. I saw it yesterday, but they have this thing you can latch onto your back that'll prevent you from slouching.
I need that while I'm in the chair.
Yo,
I have a really bad like engineer slouch.
Yeah, dude, I'm over here just like all day. Then when I see me on video, I'm like, Nico, just.
I know. I feel less bad about it when I'm leaning on something, but when I'm just like on the computer like this, I'm like,
it's horrible.
Come on, Lo, come on.
Because being like, I'm in front of like screens all day, and I'm sure you are too.
Yeah.
So it gets to that point where it's like, oh my God, I've been on this shit for like a couple hours now.
Yeah.
I just want to relax.
Yeah. And all the guys that I work with are like tall, obviously. And like they have like no problem. Their feet sit flat on the floor. And me, like if I bring the chair up too high, like my tippy toes are on the floor. And if I bring it down too low, my hands are up here.
Yes.
So like there's no winning.
Dude,
I just end up being like this.
Yo, you should see me when I DJ. Like I have my shit like all the way up here, so I don't have to bend over or anything. Because I'm like,
smart.
yo, I just need to be comfortable when I do this. Because it's a trip when people thinking about like DJing or engineering, like you're in front of a computer the entire time. People are like, oh, you know, that's easy. But it's like, yo, it's the amount of time you actually spend on there being creative, in which, like, not that it drains you, but it slowly just like pokes at you.
Oh yeah, for sure, for sure. That's the perfect explanation. Yeah. Your shoulder starts with your lower back and then moves its way up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you know, it's crazy being in this industry because I've seen my body just like decline from how it's looked since college, and I'm like, yo.
I used to be a personal trainer. That was my job. My mom's a trainer and a yoga instructor, and she was like, hey, so you need a job, right? Like out of high school. She was like, you need a job. And I was like, okay, I guess so. She was like, but I was an athlete growing up. So she was like, here, I'll help you get your PT cert. And I was like, okay. She was like, it's going to be a great job for you. And she was so right. So I was a trainer like all throughout college. And even like my first 6 to 8 months working at the studio, something like that, until I went full time. Yeah. And the moment I went full time, gym went out the window.
Gym?
The gym. Yeah, I was a personal trainer.
I'm like, who's Jim?
Jim.
I'm thinking JIM. I'm like, did we mention a gym before?
The gym.
The gym.
The gym.
You know,
Exercise went right out the window.
Well, because at that point, like, you need to realize that you can't. My cousin put it in like the best way possible. Don't half-ass two things, just whole-ass one thing.
Yeah, hell yeah. And then being a trainer too, like I know if you're exhausted or if you're not eating right or whatever, there's like so many pieces to the puzzle. Mm-hmm. So if you don't have all the pieces, there's, to me, honestly, no point.
Well, speaking of pieces to the puzzle, and going back to the fact that you're able to like figure out where the wires go, in the studio and whatnot. You didn't like that transition?
I like that. That was good.
But I think what's cool about it is that, like, when you start off somewhere, sometimes things just might seem like senseless work, like, oh, like they're making us do this, making us do that. But essentially, like, those are like the little things that make the operation what it is. Like, if you don't know what an XLR is, it's like, come on.
For sure.
Like, what are you doing here?
For sure. Even dialing it back like a little bit further than that, I think like, what you do as a runner is like indicative of like how you're going to be in the room. So like your attention to detail, like whether or not you see that little spot on the table or not, is like, shit. No, not your table. Could have been anything. Any table.
Yeah.
Or like whether or not the labels are facing outward or inward in the fridge. There's like really, really, I mean, some people might call it anal. I think that it's attention to detail, and I think that helps you be a better engineer because engineering is all about attention to detail. I mean, that's literally what it comes down to.
Well, because similar to the boards over at the radio station, you have one wrong button on, like...
Oh, you're done.
You're done.
You're done.
I can't even tell you how many times, like, the on button has been on for mic 4, and it's a commercial break, and we're just like, dump, 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 dump. Yeah. And it's crazy, but it's like all those little things, and I'm only speaking for the music industry, that we need to be on top of.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, then you take that idea, right, and you multiply it by 96. Oh, man.
Well, let's talk about this album that you had 96 channels about.
Yeah.
What was that like for you?
Amazing. Like the best experience of my life, and something I could have never imagined doing at 25, 26 years old. It was just like a dream come true. It was really, really cool. And it's not just the albums, too. Bubblin won a Grammy.
Yeah.
So I considered it a Grammy winner.
Do you have the Grammy on you?
No, I wish. I wish. I'm still waiting for it in the mail.
So then, did you actually have like Anderson in the room?
Oh yeah. He's so hands-on. He's so cool too. I love working with him. I was with him last night actually. We were making some jams last night.
Damn, still working.
Yeah.
After the shit just cracked top 5.
Yeah, right?
Crazy.
Oh yeah, I know. I know, he's crazy. But that's what makes him so good, he's like hella hands-on. He would be like, this is like a breakdown of like a regular Anderson session, right?
Okay.
He comes in, Free Nats come in, and whoever else he has, like Pomo, Kaytranada, whoever, right? They all come in. We set everybody up at one time. Anderson will play the drums. We'll grab a drum loop, and then everybody just jams.
Damn.
Yeah, and you're recording everything all at once. There was one day where like we set up a 57 for him in the room. So he went out into the live room, laid the drums, came back in, and then he was like singing and directing while everybody else was playing on a live recording. And it was like the coolest shit I've ever seen in my life. I've never seen anybody else do that. Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah, he's a genius.
Well, I think it's even different that you guys are applying live instrumentation throughout the entire session, because I've been through sessions where, you know, it's a keyboard.
Yeah, for sure.
You know what I mean? And it's, you know what I mean? And it gets the job done.
Yeah.
But I haven't been in a session like that in which it's like, yo, like these are actually all operating tools handled by single individuals at a time.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's not to take away from MIDI producers at all.
For sure.
I mean, your ideas and what you put down is like, you know, you can't take that away from anybody. But seeing a whole band come up with something on the spot is like unmatched. It's like I don't know, it's like top notch.
Yeah. And then how many songs did you guys actually have to work on for Ventura? She's like, man, if I'm telling you.
You know what? No, we had like 2 whiteboards up for Oxnard and Ventura just to like, and I don't know if like a lot of people know that, but we did Oxnard and Ventura at the exact same time.
Ooh.
Yeah, and we mixed it at the same time too. So Oxnard, yeah, Quentin and Dre were up in the A room, and then Focus and I were in the B room. Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah. So we did. So coming down like to the playlist for these 2 albums, like, man, we had like 2 whiteboards with like sections in each one, like 2 to 3 sections on each whiteboard. It got crazy. It was super crazy.
Do you have like a photo of it?
I wish I did. You know what? You know what? Anderson accidentally posted like a video or something, and like you could see the whiteboard in the background, and some like crazy stalker like screenshotted that, and then went and posted it online, like way before Oxnard even came out. And so like then when Oxnard came out, people would be like, "Oh, well, I thought this song and that song," even though they don't even know what it sounds like. They've never heard it before. They're like, "Oh, I thought this song was gonna be on. I thought Jet Black was gonna be on Oxnard." Like,
damn, that's insane.
Yeah.
So then you guys were just working on like. So then that means Ventura's like technically what, a year or 2 old?
I guess so. Technically, yeah. But we were literally still working on the songs during the mix process, which is like crazy. Nobody ever does that. Usually artists will like finish an album and then send it to mix, right? This is aftermath for you. We just can't stop. We're in the mix and we hear something. Oh, let's redo this real quick. We cut vocals one night. Yeah.
Dude, I can't even wrap my head around that right now.
Really?
So then you guys are creating the songs, and as it's going on, you're configuring the mix?
No, I mean, we were at like 99% with the songs, right? But then we're like in the middle of a mix and we hear something, and then we'll like go redo it or fix it or whatever.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
And
that's that attention to detail.
Dude, that's insane. So then like with the amount of work that you guys are doing, is it more fun for you or does it get tiresome?
I mean, yeah, some days are tiring. You know, it's like any job or like anything that you're doing. There's tiring days for sure, but you walk away and you're like, damn, we just made a hit record, you know? Damn. So like, how are you going to feel? How are you going to feel any other kind of way then?
I mean, how do you guys how do you guys know? How do you know, like, that's the record?
That's a good question. Because that's so, like, subjective. You know what I mean? It really comes down to, like, the fans and the people, right? But we are all just so invested in what we're doing. And every single person in the room is, like, the best at what they do. So you're going to make magic, you know? And we did that a few times. Damn. Quite a few times.
Yeah, it's kind of undeniable once you know everybody in the room is the best.
Yeah, dude, there's so many songs that like didn't make these cuts, and I'm just like I love. I'm like, hey, can you just send me those? I won't play them for anybody. I'll just play them for myself in the car.
Oh shit.
Yeah,
that's crazy.
Yeah. So when you have good people, you get good shit, you know.
God, man, it makes me wonder, like, because when I listened to Ventura, I think by the time the Nate Dogg song was on, What Can We Do? Mm-hmm. You know, on Spotify, how it just, like, loops to another song?
Yeah.
I was like, wait, I didn't know this was on Ventura, too.
Oh, really?
And I was like, oh, no, it's not. The album's done. I was like, no, this can't be it.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? Like, it makes me...
It's over kind of quick, huh?
It's over really quick,
Yeah.
but then it doesn't make it seem like... It doesn't make me feel like it wasn't enough.
Mm-hmm.
It's more so like, I just want more.
Yeah, I love it, and I just want to hear it again.
Yeah.
Yeah, same here. I feel the same way.
Man.
It's funny. You know, when you listen to songs like over and over and over again, like you think you know it, or it starts to seem longer than it is because halfway through you stop there and you go back to the top, and you know what I mean? You hardly ever make it to the end of the song.
Mm-hmm.
So when I listened to the album and it was over, I was like, oh, wow, that was quick, you know? But during the mix process, when you're sitting there listening to it for like 3 days at a time before you finalize a mix, you know, it doesn't seem 2 minutes long. It seems 20 minutes long.
Yeah.
You know?
For sure.
Yeah, I thought the exact same thing when I listened to the album. Because, of course, I went out and bought it and put it in my car. Oxnard and Ventura are like the first 2 CDs I bought since, like, I don't know, the early thousands.
Really?
Yeah. I don't think I can't even remember, like, the last CD I bought. I was a big Now kid, though. I made my parents buy me all the Now CDs.
I think I only have Now 16, if anything. I don't even know.
I had one. I had Now.
You had Now 1.
No number on it, just Now. Had Now. I was about it.
Yeah.
I had Now, and I think I went up to like, I don't know, 10 or something like 13, 14, something like that.
But you know, even like in the discussion between like CDs, I think it's very interesting that people like Anderson really want to like put out product like that too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I mean, I think that's part of like Aftermath standard, you know, where Aftermath is what's the word I'm looking for? I don't know.
Old school?
Yeah, but I didn't want to say old school though, because it's not old school. It's just like we're like carrying traditions, if you will. You know, like with the analog and like just how we do things in general. Like there was no way we weren't going to do physical copies. There's no way he did vinyls too. I wonder if he did cassettes.
Shit,
Did you know cassettes are coming back?
No, cassette, dude. I have like a J. Cole cassette.
Really?
Yeah, I think a J. Cole and like an Everybody by Logic cassette.
Okay, but what do you have to play it on?
Look, I don't know. Don't ask me that.
It's cool. You have
All
it.
I know
You
is
have
I
it. You
wanted it. I wanted it, and I have it. And you know what I mean? Like I feel like it's always products like this that make it. It goes back to the idea that these people aren't totally untouchable.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because it's like we live in this digital realm, and I always feel like there's a huge disconnect because we can just see somebody online and be like, I want to be like him. I want to be like him.
Yeah.
But like we never get the opportunity to actually like feel what goes on. Like for instance, I haven't opened this CD up yet. Shout out to Paul and you for like, you know, giving this to me, but it's like
you should open it up. You should open it up.
You're right.
You see the print on the back is like almost like handwriting.
Don't tell me that's his handwriting.
I'd be surprised. I don't think so. Let me see. That's not his handwriting. No.
I was about to say.
No.
Because I was about to say, because you know the lunch table logo right there, like the words "the lunch table," that's my handwriting.
Oh, that's dope.
Yeah.
That's super dope. I like this logo too.
Thank you.
That's cool as fuck.
Because I always felt like I just wanted it to be personal.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, for sure. And that's what this is to me. If you open up like I just learned that this is called a J card. Did you know that? Me neither.
Thought it was like track list or
Yeah.
album cover or something.
But in there, like it's all handwritten, and then he like gave a shout out to the team, and like it's very, very, very personal, which you don't get if you're just listening to it on iTunes.
Yeah.
Or iTunes.
And
Apple
I feel
Music.
like that's the type of stuff that people tend to like overlook. Like even though the credits are always there, it's like like.
But the credits are not there.
Yeah.
That's something that like,
All right. Finally got it.
It was difficult. It was hard for me too. I couldn't even get it open.
Yo, this is crazy. I don't even want to show you guys because I need you guys to buy this shit.
Yeah, go get it. Go get it.
I'm seeing like what is this like studio?
Yeah.
Studio.
Actually,
photos
that was
and
a session with Andre.
Oh, crazy.
Yeah.
So you were literally in all these sessions.
Oh, yeah.
Minus the Nate Dogg session.
Yeah. So some songs were sent in. Some people had features that were sent in.
Yo,
but I was there for Andre, Smokey, and Layla. Yeah, Layla and I had a great session together. She was amazing. Amazing. That's my favorite song on the album, Reaching Too Much.
Nice. Oh my, yes.
Right?
That was the one.
Yeah, she kills it. She kills it. Yeah.
No, and the crazy thing was that like I listened to this album front to back and I was like, I just can't. I don't know what my favorite song is.
You don't? Even still?
Reaching was definitely like up there, but like
Yeah.
I listened to it over and over again. I'm like, yo, like it's hard. It's really freaking hard. Like
Yeah,
Yada
I get
Yada
it.
was one of those.
Yeah, yada yada.
Jet Black.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, man.
It's
a
a playthrough. It's a playthrough. You play it top to bottom.
Mm-hmm.
You don't even have to pick one. You know, that's something that's like really interesting to me. I've been looking like, you know, I'm like keeping up with like the album, are people liking it, what's going on, and there's not like a lot of like single songs that are like around. You know what I mean? It's kind of like all about the whole album, and I think that's hella cool.
Well, that's why I don't know what the single is.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like,
I mean King James was the first single, and then Make It Better was the second single, and then they dropped the album. And then,
but I mean, still at that point, it's just like everything is just so cohesive to the fact where I'm like, yo, like the whole album stands out.
yeah, right,
You know what I mean?
yeah, that's what I'm saying, and I love it. I love
Yeah.
it. That's so cool, and that's really rare these days too. You know, I feel like it's always all about the single.
Yeah.
You know.
Being in the studio with 3 Stacks, did you ever have a conversation with him?
Yeah, he's amazing. He's so kind, like, and just so down to earth and so cool. Like every single person that came into the room or that he walked by, was like, "Hey, Andre, nice to meet you." He was amazing. So yeah, so we were just in there hanging out. You know, try to leave him alone though. He was like getting in the, you know, trying to come up with.
It's like we're at work.
Yeah. That's the thing. That's the thing about meeting people at work. You know, you got to keep it like real cool and keep them comfortable so that they can create and come up with something good.
So, being in the studio with all these legendary people, right?
Yeah.
Dr. Dre, Andre,
Yeah.
Anderson. What's like the biggest takeaway that you can share with us?
Biggest takeaway. Passion, I guess. Yeah. Just to be passionate about like what you're doing. And then within that you will you'll succeed and you'll be happy. And I think that's like, because Dre every day, you know, we make a lot of music. We make music every single day. We make at least one song every day. We don't ever stop. And whether or not people hear it, it doesn't really matter because he's passionate. And, you know, when we're doing this, like, I'll say that, and then people would be like, "Oh, so like you make beats every day?" And I'm like, "No, we make full songs, full-on songs, live players, MIDI producers as well, and then vocals, top to bottom, verse, hook, stacks, ad-libs, singing and rapping, and whatever happens that day, you know. But we we go in every single day, so that passion is like strong. And it rubs off on the rest of us, you know. If the leader is passionate, you know, the rest of the team is gonna follow suit. So
That's true.
Yeah,
I'm definitely like feeling that passion like exuding off of you
Really?
right now. You know,
Good,
it's crazy
good.
because
that's genuinely how I feel. So
because a lot of people try to figure out like what the secret is, right?
Mm-hmm.
But the secret is really just do it every single day.
yeah,
And if you can't, or if you just don't want to, that means it's not something that you're truly passionate for. You know? And it amazes me because I'm getting like this heartwarm feeling right now because I actually do feel the passion coming from you.
Good.
And just to know that you guys are in the studio every day, minus right now.
Yeah.
But it's like,
I'll be there in a couple hours.
but you know, like knowing that you guys are in the studio every day, you're creating songs, whether they see the light outside of the studio or not, like, I think that's the essence of creativity. Just knowing that like the tree can fall into the forest and like only a certain amount of people are going to hear it. Like, you know, and it's beautiful. It's beautiful
really
because
is.
there's no pressure of,
Right.
oh, this is going to be like the next hottest song of like 2019,
Right. It's not about
2020,
that.
You know what
It's
I mean?
not about that. We're
even
just
about
making
that.
good music. We're just making good music. And that was what I set out to do. So that's why I'm so happy with where I'm at. That's what we do every day. We make good music every day. How could I complain? You know? And then on top of that, then we have projects that we are putting out. So it just depends, really.
Like what projects?
Like Oxnard and Ventura. Yeah, I see what you're getting at.
Hey, man, you know, I just, you know, detox maybe. You know?
I don't know anything about that. I'm not the one.
Man.
I'm not the
Oh,
one.
man. Good shit. Media trained. I love it.
Not even. This is my first interview,
Hey,
first
no, but
promo
still.
at all.
Hey, man, look, I'm not going to say nothing, but, you know, if you're NDA'd up, you're NDA'd up. I ain't tripping.
A little NDA'd up.
I'm happy. No, but seriously, like on a real note, like I'm really happy for
Thank
you.
you.
Like,
Thank you.
Not only for the fact that like you're working with such amazing people at such a young age, but the fact that one, you're from the Bay, so you know what I mean? Like we got to get that representation on, and for two, like it's very difficult to also, not difficult, it's very rare to find like a woman in the industry too who's like extremely passionate and is like can make things happen and make things done. So I really applaud you for that.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. There was definitely a period of time where, you know, actually right before I got hired at Aftermath, I was about to throw in the towel. Swear to God, it was like a year and a half being out of school and it just wasn't happening, right? And I'm like, well, what am I doing? What am I doing wrong? So I prayed on it hard and I was like, okay, God, send me a sign or I'm going to go home. I gave myself like a time limit. I was like, okay, if nothing happens, this was like Christmas time, right? Also, when I first moved out here, I was so homesick, like all the time.
Yeah.
So it was like Christmas and I didn't want to come back to LA. And so I was like, okay, I'm going to give myself 1 year. If nothing happens this year, I'm coming back home. It's whatever. I tried. It's all good. Literally 3 weeks later, Paul sends me an email. Hey, we're hiring someone, actually my friend Julio. Julio and I went to LA Film together. And he moved up from being a runner to an assistant engineer and a spot opened up. And he threw my name out there, and then it happened, and I just took it and ran with it. I just went off. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I asked for a sign, I got it, and I just went off with it. You know?
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Putting that shit out into the universe.
Yep, it works. It works. It really works.
Does.
It really works.
For real. Shout out to you, Lola. Shout out to Paul for making this happen too.
Yeah,
Shout out to Aftermath,
Thanks,
man. Once again, like crazy album, probably one of my favorites within the past like 2 years. Just saying.
Ooh.
And you know,
that feels good to hear.
And thank you, Lola, for joining us. Where can everybody find you?
Oh, you know me. Keep it on the low.
Keep it on the low.
Keep it on the low. Yeah. LO.
Damn, I like her. I like you a lot.
Thank you, Nico. I like you too. Thank you for having me. This is so dope. It was nice to do my first promo thing with another Bay Area person.
Hey, off tops.
You know? Hey.
This is the lunch table. Food for thought. I'm Nico Blitz. Lola Romero, and we are out, everybody.
Yay.